Oi oi girls and boys and everything in between, it's Ace Trainer Liam back with another episode of MetroMania. For those who don't know what MetroMania is, it's a 16 Pokémon Metronome Battle tournament to determine the first MetroMania Champion, and honestly the first 4 heats have been absolutely incredible. I'm super excited for the 5th. If you're excited, if you're enjoying this series, hit the like button to show your support, and if you're new, turn on notifications, subscribe, whatever, just so that you don't miss any of the action. Hopefully the second half of the heats is going to be just as exciting, if not more exciting than the first half, which was incredible. But before we get to Heat 5, the first heat of the second half of the heats rounds, let's take a look at the brackets. So Politoed last week was the victor in the battle against the big bulky Blissey, the Pokemon that everybody said was going to be too bulky to be taken down in this tournament and was going to go all the way. The fan favorite Blissey taken down by Politoed after an initial hiccup with a Perish Song that backfired on Politoed in the first round. It then had 2 very dominant rounds against Blissey, securing its place against Togekiss in the second of our quarterfinals. It just goes to show you can't bank on these Pokemon based on stats alone. You have to really have faith in them and in the metronome itself. It's crazy how this is shaping up. This week we've got Miltank versus Ludicolo for a place in quarterfinal 3. Let's see who wins. So now it's time, Miltank versus Ludicolo. Who is going to the quarterfinals? Is it going to be the dancing maraca thing, pineapple looking thing, or is it going to be the big old cow thing with the big old teats? Who knows? Who knows? We see Miltank starting off with Knockoff. Not going to do as much damage because Ludicolo is not holding an item, but still did a decent amount actually. Here's Trick Room. Miltank is basically going, hey Ludicolo, do you want to move first each turn? We think you've got a disadvantage. Why don't you start first, sweetheart, on the next turn? Here we see a Horn Leech. That is going to be a stab move coming out from Ludicolo onto Miltank for a decent amount of damage. Can't complain at that. No health to be restored because, of course, you're at full HP. Shiny Ludicolo goes Grass Whistle. So it is going to put one of those Miltank, the regular Miltank, to sleep. That's an interesting play there. So that takes that Miltank out of commission for a few turns there. Here comes regular Ludicolo. What's it got in store for us? It's going for Eerie Impulse. Okay. So that is going to hit on regular Miltank and is going to drop its special attack harshly there, although Miltank probably will do better in physical moves anyway. Here we see Frenzy Plant. That is going to be, again, a stab move. Going to do, oh my god, massive damage to Miltank there. Regular Miltank is taking a pounding in this already. Here's Fly from Shiny Miltank. Going to do super effective damage on one of those Ludicolo on the next turn, as regular Miltank stays asleep after taking all that punishment so early on. Shiny Ludicolo has to recharge after Frenzy Plant. Here comes regular Ludicolo with an attack order, and it is going to hit regular Miltank there. Fair bit of damage, not a great amount, but does bring it into the red. There's that super effective hit doing massive damage to Shiny Ludicolo by the Shiny Miltank with that Fly there, evening things up for this for these teams, making things a little bit more balanced in this battle. Here's regular Ludicolo with Power Trip. We know Power Trip doesn't tend to do a lot of damage in these Metronome battles, so it's barely worth getting excited about. But here comes Shiny Ludi with Struggle Bug. Who's it going to be on? It's on regular Miltank, bringing it down to just 10 HP and dropping its special attack even further. There's a drop in special attack as well on the Shiny Miltank as well, who also took a little bit of damage there. Coming back with Block. Not really a helpful move at this point. Ludicolo can't escape. It wasn't going to escape anyway. What a waste of a move. Regular Miltank still fast asleep. Has not woken up from that Grass Whistle. Here comes regular Ludicolo with Ice Punch. It's not going to be super effective, but it's going to do I did barely anything. I thought it was going to do some decent damage, but no. Ludicolo not really a physical attacker. Speaking of which, here comes a Bulk Up from Shiny Ludicolo, which is going to raise its physical attack and its physical defense there. Regular Miltank wakes up. It's finally able to use a move. What's it going to use? It's going to use Headbutt. I mean, it is a stab move. It has a chance to flinch, but not while the dimensions are still twisted. Here comes Shiny Miltank with a Sharpen, so it is going to raise its attack there. It wants to deal more damage there. The Twisted Dimensions return to normal, so now Miltank is going to start moving first. Here comes Shiny Miltank. What's it going to bring? Camouflage, but that fails. That's unfortunate for Miltank. Here comes regular Miltank with Trump Card. Does barely any damage there to Ludicolo. That's such a shame. Here comes regular Ludicolo with a topsy-turvy. Oh, that's not good for Miltank. Swapping those stat changes. Is that good? Is that bad? I can't even remember the stat changes that they've had. Here comes, oh, shiny Ludicolo going with a flamethrower. Does a decent amount of damage and burns the shiny Miltank. Now, that's not good for shiny Miltank. Limits the amount of physical damage it can do and also limits the amount of time it has left on the battlefield. Regular Miltank, what are you going to do to retaliate? Goes for a Hyper Fang, but it's avoided. That would have been a very significant blow from the Miltank side onto Ludicolo. Shiny Miltank goes Sparkling Aria. Incidentally, is going to knock out its teammate, and also, if another Pokemon would have used that move, it would have healed the burn of that Miltank, but because it's the one using the move, it stays burned. Ludicolo, what are you going to do? Regular Ludicolo goes for Lovely Kiss, but it fails, unfortunately. Shiny Ludicolo must be looking to finish things off. Goes for Venoshock. Not going to do that much damage, really. Oh, I say that. It did, I mean, about half of the HP that Miltank has. This looks like this round may well go to Ludicolo. If this Miltank can survive somehow. Vine Whip isn't going to be very effective, but it does take down that shiny Ludicolo, so it is now one-on-one, but only if Miltank can do a one-hit KO move on the next turn if it lives that long. Growl is going to lower the attack stat of this Miltank, who's already suffering from the burn, lowering its physical damage. It's got 16 HP left. It probably has 1 or 2 turns left in it. It really needs to pull something out of the bag here. Goes for Cut. I mean, that's not going to do much at all. With the amount of physical attack drops you've had at this point, including the burn. There's a Swallow, which is going to fail by Ludicolo. So Miltank does have a chance. It really needs to do something this turn if it's going to succeed in the first round against Ludicolo. What's it going to do? It's going to go for Brutal Swing. That's not going to knock out Ludicolo. So Ludicolo at this point, no matter what move it uses, has won this round against Miltank. Goes for Baton Pass. It's going to fail. It knows that Miltank is done from that burn. Round 1 goes to Ludicolo. So now we have to see, is it going to be Miltank clawing it back? Is it going to be Ludicolo with a clean sweep here? Who knows? Miltank showed it can take one of these Ludicolo down, but it needs to take them both down. It needs to try much, much harder. Here's a Gear Up, which fails from Miltank on the first turn. Shiny Miltank coming in with Spiderweb. So it is trying to slow down Ludicolo. It's not going to do a great deal of damage. Ludicolo can't escape. Sorry, I'm thinking of Sticky Web. Spiderweb just stops you from escaping, which is a redundant move. Here's a Dragon Pulse from Ludicolo, though. That's going to be effective. How much damage is it going to do? It does about a quarter of Shiny Miltank's HP there. That's a strong start from the Ludicolo team. Barrage coming out from Ludicolo, doing physical damage each time it hits. We get 2 hits, we get 3 hits. Does a little bit of chip damage. Not the greatest of damaging moves, but certainly does damage nonetheless, and you want to deal as much damage as you possibly can. Here's a neutral Fire Blast on the water and grass type Ludicolo. It did a fair bit of damage, fair bit, nothing major. Here's a Rollout now. This is Miltank's ballpark. Miltank is the champion of Rollout, so if it can hit all 5 hits, this Ludicolo is done for. Here comes a Coil from Ludicolo, from Shiny Ludicolo. It's going to raise its attack, raise its defense, and raise its accuracy, so it becomes that little bit more deadly there. What's regular Ludicolo got in store for us? It's going to go with a Body Slam, hoping to paralyze one of these Miltank. Does a decent amount of damage there. Not too much, not too little. Certainly making its presence known. Regular Miltank's going to go Flash Cannon. Now, this is going to be resisted by Ludicolo because of that water typing there. Water, of course, resistant to steel. There's the second turn of this Rollout. If this Rollout gets charged up, there's no telling how much devastation this Miltank's going to dish out. There's a Brave Bird coming out from Ludicolo. It will take recoil damage, but it's going to be a decent hit on this Shiny Miltank. Wow, bringing it right down into the yellow there. So Miltank's time, Shiny Miltank's time could be limited here. We don't know. Here's a present from regular Ludicolo bringing Shiny Miltank down to 18 HP. So it really needs to be protected if it's going to get the full extent of its rollout in play. That did not do a lot of damage there. Here's the third turn of that rollout, starting to deal significant damage. Just needs to survive that little bit longer to get to that 5th hit. Here's a Petal Blizzard, though, which is going to hit everybody, taking down that shiny Miltank. So that rollout is just a pipe dream at this point. My goodness, this is an intense battle right now. Here comes shiny Ludicolo with an Ice Beam onto Miltank. It does a little bit of damage, doesn't get the freeze though. That's lucky for Miltank though. It would have been a sitting duck otherwise at this point, which is weird because Ludicolo kind of looks like a duck. Here's a false swipe. It won't kill. It will do a decent amount of damage there though. A little bit of damage, but you need to bring out the big guns at this point. There's a Hydro Cannon with stab behind it from Ludicolo. Oh my goodness, wipes out Miltank. Ludicolo goes on to the quarterfinals. Ludicolo goes on to be the first member of our 3rd quarterfinal. Who will join it, Ursaring or Ambipom? We'll find out next week, but well done, Ludicolo. So it looks like Miltank really didn't stand a chance. Ludicolo had pretty much an answer for everything in both of those rounds. I was quite surprised. I thought Miltank would be quite a strong contender, especially when it actually started using rollout. I thought that was one of those Ludicolo completely done for, but it just didn't seem to work out for Miltank. It really couldn't get things fired up enough, and it really didn't put the kind of beat down on Ludicolo that I thought was going to happen. So fans of Ludicolo will be happy because that's now the first Pokemon that's going to be in the 3rd of our quarterfinal matches. So it's going to be interesting to see who next week out of Ursaring or Ambipom gets to take down Ludicolo or be taken down by Ludicolo. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those battles play out and how our quarterfinals shape up. Quarterfinals are looking amazing so far, and I'm really excited to see who the final 3 Pokemon are going to be in that section of this tournament. If you've liked this episode, of course, hit the like button. It massively helps me out. And if you're new and you've enjoyed watching this video and you want to watch more stuff from me, hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss anything. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.